Here we are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, and everybody in between. It is
Thursday, and that means it should be about something time.
That's right. It should be about something time.
I think that was great lip syncing there, just so we don't fuck up again with Isbazites, or it should be about something.
Who the hell knows anymore? Hello, everybody. How are you all doing?
Hello, all you Isbazites out there in Isbaz land. How's your week been? How's your week been, Jim?
How's my week been? Oh, man. You would think I would be ready for that question. I am not ready for that question.
I'm never ready for that question.
My week has been a week. It's been a week. There was some good stuff in this week. Did a really nice, I had a really fun time working on a TV show. It's like a YouTube channel for a big NGO here in Vienna.
Right.
And I was doing it with you. And with
is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I completely forgotten about that.
Lovely and talented Sophie Kozlu and the lovely and talented Anne Vino. It was super fun. Amadei and Fabian.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We gave the voices to some puppets.
Yeah.
It's going to be a puppet show featuring some of the lovers.
It's called Socks Talk Politics.
And he does it in that voice.
Just about.
Yeah, we're actually quite psyched about that. It looks like it could be a fun kind of regular thing that's going to turn up every now and again. They're planning, at least we know that they're planning 9 episodes, and we did 3 on Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So
we shall keep you updated as soon as it goes live. It's going to be going live on YouTube Live.
Yeah. What else did you do this week, Michael?
Well, I'm doing a Hörspiel. What's a Hörspiel in English? Things you want
a radio play.
A radio play.
Cool.
For the Hessische Rundfunk.
Cool.
Called Xerxes.
Cool.
Well, it's kind of a fun take on Xerxes and his life and his death stuff. Yeah.
What's one thing you can tell me about Xerxes?
He liked architecture. When he went against the Greeks, it was like 1,000 years before Christ. He had to walk from Persia to Greece. It's like 4,500 kilometers, and it would take you at least 60 days to walk that. So can you imagine walking from Persia to Greece with 20,000 men? They took 5,000 head of cattle with them to feed them on the way.
Wow.
Oh, and he was kind of nutty as well. When they got to the Bosporus, he built a bridge across, or the sort of ponton bridge, right? And a storm came up, and the ponton bridge was destroyed by the storm.
Right.
And because this was Poseidon, the Greek god behind the storm, he had the sea whipped 300 times to punish the gods for destroying his bridge. Yeah.
He had the sea whipped.
He had the sea whipped.
He had dudes whip the sea.
A dude come and whip the sea 300 times.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, and everybody in between, sounds like we just got...
Damn!
That's
we
right.
got factoided, man.
You got factoided. Boom!
Yeah, so that's kind of been my week. I did that a couple of days this week.
Cool.
I'm doing it again tomorrow.
Anybody else performing with you that we know?
I was performing with Wolfram Berger.
Oh, yeah.
And a guy called Till Firth from the Burgtheater, and a lady called Eva Meyer, who is at Josefstadt.
Oh, yeah.
And then two other people are in the show, but I wasn't in the studio with them there. And that's Regina Fritsch and her daughter Alina.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's nice.
Super cool. Let's have a quick hello to Andrew is in the house. Philly Girl 1000, hello. Pavlov's dog, looking at you. And Vienna Theater Project, boom. Did Xerxes ride a camel?
No, they didn't. They didn't ride.
They walked.
They walked. They didn't ride animals back then. They ate them.
There you go.
No, it's not true. He was actually quite an accomplished horse rider of horses. So he might have ridden a horse or been carried. Yeah. But everybody else walked, so it didn't get any faster. It was 60 days.
Maybe you could have that on his card. Rider at horses, like attorney at law.
At law, yeah. Rider at horses.
Rider at
I
horses.
ride at other horses with my horse. When I'm on my horse, I ride at other horses.
I think it's time for a slurp slurp.
I think we should. Yeah, definitely.
Is bezoozlas, is bezonkers.
And is Bazette.
Slurp slurp. Good to see you, buddy.
The audio off on the Slurpy Slurp. We've got this new Stream Deck that does all these things. So we actually need a Slurpy Slurp that turns the audio off. So no, we don't. I don't think we do. That's gonna fuck things up.
Yeah. Don't mess with the winning team.
Don't
Never
mess with
change a winning team,
Yeah.
as they say.
Right.
You okay?
I'm okay. Engineer at large.
Engineer at large. That's nice. What do you think?
I think we should get to it.
I think we should get to it too.
Right.
So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you may not even be on the chat. If you don't know, you can hop onto the chat and say hi. We'd love to know when you're out there. If you're not on the chat and don't want to get on the chat, that's cool
Yeah,
too.
you can just lurk in the background.
You can just be a slurper in the background. And if you are joining us for the first time, our show comes to you in 3 parts. We call them chapters, and this is chapter 1. On your first crush.
Yeah.
So this is what we're talking about, peeps.
Taking us back a long time.
Who was your first crush? Can you remember their name? What was cool about them? How long did it last? Talking the very first one you can remember. First crush.
Shall I go first?
I don't know.
I think I will. So I think the first one I can remember, I was in grade school, and I think it was first grade.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this girl called Bridget Duvenage.
Okay. Hold on. Bridget Duvenage.
Yeah.
Brigitte Duvenage.
Bridget Duvenage, yeah.
Oh my God. What a name.
Yeah,
Bridget
pretty good name. And she was, I mean, we were 7, right? Or maybe she was 6. But she had this raspy voice, like
Scarlett Johansson.
no way raspier than that, actually. I was thinking more Angie Dickinson.
And Kathleen Turner.
She had a voice like this.
Yeah.
And I always thought, wow, where's a girl that age, that size, get that voice? Where does that voice come from?
Well, you were growing up in South Africa. You were obviously smoking a pack of cigarettes a day at that point. So
Yeah, I was smoking Texan Plain. Yeah, and so was she. She was
drinking funny car fuel.
She was selling cigarettes in the schoolyard.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Bridget Duvenage, she's 7 years old. You're 7.
Or maybe she was 6. I think
What
I was 7.
What can you remember about
Well,
her?
she was blonde and she had a very cute face and she was very outspoken. So she had this blonde straight hair, but it was kind of cut in a bob. So it would kind of go all over the place, and then she'd shake it and then it'd fall back into this thing. And I think she might have had a crush on me as well, because my mom came and picked me up from school and she so she's talking to Bridget, and she's like 6, but this was the craziest thing. She had that really adult voice,
Right.
And then she had a really adult way of talking to people, talking to other adults as well. So she's like talking to my mom like eye level,
Right.
and I'm just standing there like I'm this kid, in shorts, and she's
bare
like,
feet.
yeah, no, that wasn't a bare feet school. That,
Yeah.
and she's like yakking away to my mom, and then she's like, yeah, your son's very handsome, and I'm like, what? these two women, it's like these two adult women are talking about me while I'm in the room.
And you're 7. Well, your son is very handsome. He's a very good-looking young man.
That was the voice she had. Yeah, it was quite.
I just ran out of my Pall Malls. Can I have one of? Can I have? Give me one of your Newports there. All right. Now let me tell you about your son. That's amazing. So, do you remember how it ended?
No, I don't remember. Well, probably I changed school. I went to that barefoot school then.
Yeah, right.
And I don't remember anybody from the barefoot school except this kid I used to hang out with called Björn.
I don't care about Björn. I
I
care
didn't have a
about
crush
first
on
crushes.
Björn, right?
So,
there was another girl in that school called Tracy Lomax.
Well, you're going to hold on to that one for a second because I need to tell you about my first crush first.
I need to hear about your
Yes,
first
you
crush
do.
first. How old were you?
I must have been in 2nd grade. Maybe
Okay.
it was 3rd grade.
So,
2nd or 3rd grade.
8, 9.
I don't know how old that is. 9,
7,
10?
8.
7, 8, yeah. Whatever, 2nd or 3rd
How
grade.
old were you when you started school?
I can't remember if it was been 5, so 6, 7. Yeah, it was 7 or 8. Okay. And her name was Shelley Menard.
Oh, she was also French, of
Yeah.
French origin.
Yeah. And there was a lot of things that I can remember about her. But there was one, so she had long, straight, dark hair. She sat next to me in a class. I really liked talking to her, even though we didn't do it very often. I liked the air about her. She had a calmness about her that was incredibly attractive. And I would get onto the school bus before her stop. And she lived...
Did you keep a spot for her?
Of course, I always kept no, I can't remember if I kept a spot for her. But I remember her house also had this strange, enigmatic calmness about it.
I mean, you went to her house?
No, but the school bus would
stopped
stop in front of her house,
Right.
which was amazing because I had to walk an entire mile to get to my school bus stop.
But like you live on a panhandle. They lived in a panhandle.
I lived in a cardboard box. You were lucky. We got thrown out of our cardboard box. So no, but the school bus would stop, and I would see if she was there at the end of the road, and I would always look at her house because it was set with a rather long driveway behind a bunch of trees, and you could only see it. And it was painted different.
Sounds like a homestead.
No. It was very elegant, and it was very nice, and it was very northeastern. It was New England, and there was a solidness about her,
Right.
or it seemed to be a solidness.
Sounds like you had a crush on the house.
I had a crush on her whole thing,
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to say. And this is what I remember about her. And but the thing that I really remember is the burning embarrassment when I was writing probably a love note, and I got SHEL, and it was slow because I couldn't write very well. I had those big, when I was a kid, and I got the SHEL, and some kids walked by and started making fun of me. Oh, are you writing Shelley a love? No, you love her. And in my embarrassment, of course, I couldn't admit that I had a crush on her. And I said no, and I continued to write Shelley with an I, copter. It's a Shelley copter, and I then started drawing a picture of a helicopter that had seashells for blades. It's a Shelley copter. I wasn't writing to her.
I'm going to call that thinking on your feet, young man.
But I just...
Well done.
It's funny that the searing, hot pain of embarrassment.
But did she see you do this?
No.
No. She had no idea. She had no inkling of this at all.
No, I think it's because I was getting my yum that I had was getting yucked. Somebody was yucking my yum, and it made me think that I was wrong, or suddenly I had to keep this thing secret, or maybe this thing that I didn't even understand myself suddenly was, there for public abuse.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's why that stuck with me so long. Anyway, years later, I ran into her.
Wow. That's unusual to run into somebody from that far away in your history.
And I mean, she was in my school the whole time, all through elementary.
You went to the same school the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, I have no, it's very difficult for me to relate to that because I changed school so much. And I went to like 6 different schools, I guess.
Yeah.
5.
Anyway, I ran into her and it was really nice and it was at a
Did you
dance
tell
club.
her that you had such a crush on her back in the day?
I can't remember. We just were catching up and saying hi. We were at a dance club. She was with some friends, and it was nice. We, talked for a long while. Yeah. But it was really fun.
So how's this Dave Moskin?
Third grade substitute
teacher crushing on her, right?
Hot for teacher. Oh.
Yeah, we've already done hot for teacher, but we were talking about this earlier. I think there's stages of crushes. So there's that crush you have when you're a kid, and then there's that first teenage crush, and then I think you've got that first adult crush, or when you leave home and you become a student, or you right?
Totally.
And you kind of really meet new people, way outside of your zone of safety. And then maybe there's that other thing when you start working, when you kind of enter the workplace or enter life as an adult, there's those new crushes that kind of come along.
I had a new crush on somebody. I was a
What,
crusher.
like recently?
No. In that time. Like from the time when I left my house, when I was like 17, 18, I was 18 when I left my house and, moved out and was working and doing stuff. I got a crush on every woman that worked in a greenhouse or like a flower shop. Flower girls were always super hot.
Were you not getting any at this time?
Library, of course not. I hadn't even finished puberty at this point.
Okay.
I didn't finish puberty until I was in my 20s.
Okay.
But that doesn't matter. It was the romantic in me because the crushes, I think, are so much about that. It's about that instant crushing rush of just because and for me it always has to do with the scenery. Flower girls, librarians.
You like nerdy girls.
I like girls doing things. A woman on a bike. If you were wearing a skirt, a pair of boots, and riding a bike, sploosh. My crush sploosh.
Is there a typical crush? Like, do you find yourself crushing on the same type of woman?
Well, when I was younger, like in my early 20s, I was crushing on the yummy mummies because I worked at this bakery for a little while, and just all these like super hot moms would come in.
Yeah.
But nowadays, no, it's often when I get a crush on somebody, it's usually because they're doing something they're really good at, or they're talking about something they're really passionate about. Or it is that fleeting crush of the person on the bus, the face in the tram window, somebody walking past
but
the
you kind of
the
recognize recognize people, the way they carry themselves, or their faces, or their expression, or their voice, right? Even in those split seconds, you recognize, that's somebody I could crush on if I had more time.
Right? Yeah. Because there's levels of crush. Yeah, totally.
It's like just that inkling of the first crush. Yeah.
Moko was one of her classmates, second grade. Valid was his name. Also a cool name. He was just so cute, but I don't recall if he actually talked a lot. Then he moved to Hamburg. Never saw him again.
This is also a strange thing about having a crush on people. You often don't talk to them at all.
Oh, totally.
Like when you're a kid, It's really like, at least for me when I was a kid, talking to girls was kind of weird. So the only time I'd actually talk to the girls was after school when we were waiting to get picked up, and everybody else had already taken the bus.
Right.
So it was kind of me and Tracy and Bridget kind of waiting for our moms to come and pick us up.
Right.
But so, during school, even during breaks, there was no talking. And the boys were doing their thing, girls were doing their thing. There was no contact.
I had a crush on a woman. I was living in Key West, Florida, and there was this woman who I had a complete crush on, and I didn't know her name. I had a very good friend at the time whose name was Rhonda. Rhonda Faye Polka. Her last name was Polka, like the dance, like the dots. Rhonda Faye Polka. And Rhonda was a tennis pro. She had been on the Wimbledon circuit, and she was doing fairly well, got into a car accident, busted up her collarbone, and then started snowbirding between Colorado and Florida as a tennis pro. And she and I would go out at night cruising, looking for girls together. Super fun. And we both had a huge crush on this one woman that we would see all the time at this club that we would go to go dancing. And we were both...
Neither of you got up the steam to go and talk to her.
No, but we would always, okay, I'm gonna take a run.
It's kind of nice when you go somewhere and you both got a crush on someone. Like, I think I've been in this kind of situation where you just kind of go somewhere and you ogle someone to get. It's like ogling in a group is a lot more. It's
safer.
It's maybe it's safer, but you can also kind of compare notes and discuss it.
Sure. And so we would each take runs at her, right? Yeah. We called her the horsewoman because she was like solid. She had this like physicality that was thick and physical, and she was like an untamed horse riding over the tundra. In any case, we both had a crush on her, but we never spoke to her. We would just like dance with her, and then another one would dance. And we both told our friend, well, I had told my friend Oscar about her, and Oscar was one of these dudes who knew everybody. And Oscar, unbeknownst to us, invites us to lunch at a club, at one of the beach clubs. We go to the beach club, we sit down, he's like, Jim, Ronda, come. Oscar was from Venezuela. I've got stories about Oscar. Anyway, we sit down, and I look over, and from the pool, the horsewoman is like swimming. She comes out dripping like Phoebe Cates from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, walking over to us in slow motion and sits down at our table.
Yeah.
Oscar knew who she was, invited her to lunch, and then set us up. And Rhonda and I are both like underneath the table grabbing each other and being like, oh my God, what the hell? But it was too close. It was too much.
Did Oscar tell her, or did Oscar just invite her?
I don't know. He just sat back and smiled. It was so uncomfortable. And it was nice. And we, but after that,
So were your expectations dashed?
Of course they were.
Was she not as... was she just nice to look at?
No. It was just that the magic of it, because she became real.
Yeah, I understand.
It was that layer of fantasy that was part of the crush.
Yeah,
was shattered.
Yeah.
And then we would see her.
You had a crush for so long, also that layer of fantasy gets so thick.
Exactly, and she knew as soon as she saw us. I mean, she knew. It's not like she didn't know who was, going like, "Hey, what's going on?"
We're not talking, but I'm for weeks.
Yeah, we've been. She knew. She knew. But Dave is asking, by definition, must crush be unrequited? I don't think so.
No, I think you can have a mutual crush on people.
Oh, well, yeah, you can have a crush and convert on that crush. Absolutely. But I think the percentage of unrequited to requited crushes is...
It's pretty high, Paul.
It's pretty, I think unrequited... I have way many unrequited crushes than...
I would have defined crush as unrequited. There's been... Like very rare instances of a crush actually coming through. Yeah.
Dave Moskin in the house. Hello again. Muchacho coming in with a hi. Is buzzers.
Buzzers.
I love it.
Moko's got around. Moko's lived in Hamburg. Now Moko lives in Vienna. Moko lived in Rome.
Moko didn't live in Hamburg. Her crush moved to Hamburg. We talked about this earlier.
We moved to Hamburg, it says.
Oh yeah, she moved to Hamburg. We talked about this before, and I got it wrong before. I want to ask you now, who was, or maybe still is, your celebrity crush?
Yeah.
Celebrity crush. Do you have one? Did you have one? I didn't have a celebrity crush. I had a crush on a poster.
Okay, who's the poster?
Paulina Poroskova.
Yeah, I remember her. She was
some-
in that movie with
Tom
Lady in
Selleck.
Red.
She was in Lady in Red? Could be.
I think she played
Who,
the love interest in Lady.
I could be. I remember her with Tom Selleck in My Alibi.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, great 80s movie. And she was married to Rick Ocasek of the Cars
Really?
for years and years and years, giving hope to ugly dudes across the world. If you can learn to play guitar, you might get a hot chick, which I think had a bigger influence on me than maybe other things. Celebrity crush from Andrew, Michelle Meyrink. I don't know who Michelle Meyrink is.
Nor do I. I do know who Robert Smith is.
Robert Smith.
I do know who David Duchovny is. Like,
Yeah,
so
I knew that.
Moko, this is interesting. Was your celebrity crush phase on David Duchovny the California sex thing, or
The Red Shoes Diary sex
the Red
thing?
Shoes Diary thing?
No, of
Or
course.
was
It's gonna be.
What was that thing?
The X-Files.
The X-Files. That's
But
right.
I'm more interested in your Robert Smith phase. Was it like super young in the 70s Robert Smith, so like Three Imaginary Boys? Or was it later with Siamese Dreams or like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, crazy Robert Smith? That's the one I want to know. Dave Moskin had a celebrity crush on Mata Hari.
He's making this shit up.
Of course he is. Unless maybe he had like a wicked, okay. I can picture a 15-year-old Dave Moskin with an encyclopedia that like his godmother had gotten him, and he was getting one a week. And then there was like a picture of Mata Hari in that. And
it was the most nude
hot for
woman
that.
he'd ever seen.
I had a crush for a while on the Queen of Hearts in a playing card deck.
Dang,
Crushed hard on her.
They're made to look very sexy, the queens in the deck of cards. There's that redhead.
Jordan in Real Genius. Yes. Oh my God, good one. Michelle Meyrink.
She played
Michelle
Jordan in Real
She played
Genius?
Jordan
I didn't see
in the
that.
movie Real Genius.
It's Kelly LeBrock I'm talking about was the lady in...
Kelly LeBrock. Kelly LeBrock.
But I remember Paula
But
putting
Kelly
Paula's
LeBrock in Weird Science.
Yeah, she was hot.
Yeah.
She was hot.
Barbara Eden. Yeah. I had a crush. I still haven't seen her in anything. I've never actually seen her in anything except for a Playboy that a buddy of mine like stole from a corner store. Sherilyn Fenn, who was in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I remember her.
And the only thing I knew about her was this article about her in this Playboy. And I thought, yeah, she's perfect for me. And I obviously am perfect for her. I'll just meet her someday.
Yeah, I liked her. She had...
Robert Smith, end of the 80s. Beginning, yeah. Ah, the first
So the Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me.
Cure was your first concert.
Dang.
That's a good one.
We have to talk about first concert. Have we spoken about first concerts?
I think we have, but I think we did.
Yeah, I think my first concert that counts was The Cult.
The first concert that counts?
Yeah.
Okay. My first concert was the Hooters with Huey Lewis and the News.
The Hooters were the front band?
They were open for them.
Open for them, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it, which Huey Lewis and the News tour was it?
Sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 84, 85, something like that.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They were fucking amazing.
Who lives in the news.
They were awesome. And the Hooters were awesome.
Yeah.
And that was that weird thing where the Hooters, like my cousin married this woman and she went to high school with them. And so when they got married, I met them at the wedding.
Right.
And had been to that concert. It was super cool, super cool. Anyway, Crushes.
X-Files. Yeah, totally. Yeah, because he went a bit weird, that Red Shoes Diary thing. I don't know, that was a weird show. I don't know. It was like semi-sexy. It was I don't know, what the fuck. That show couldn't decide what it wanted to be.
Linda Carter. Oh, okay. Well, Jesus, now we have to talk about Erin Gray of Buck Rogers.
I guess we do. She was hot too, yeah. I had a bit of a crush on Erin Gray. I remember when...
Linda Carter.
I remember having a crush on Lady Diana.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine
I had a
that.
pretty big crush on her. I don't think I was 12.
Yeah, I can imagine
That was
that.
the thing. Like,
Did you ever meet a celebrity crush?
I might have to think about that. I was thinking. There's been crushes that I've had since I've been working in theatre and media, and there's been a few that I've met, but I can't actually think of one right now.
Well, have a think on it. Or not.
Yeah,
Because
maybe
I think we did it.
you think we've done this?
I think we did it. Dave Moskin coming in, first concert, Earth, Wind, and Fire at Madison Square Garden. That's an awesome first concert too, man.
The heyday of the
But
new
Moko's
sports.
going to hate me because I'm going to have to tell her someday. I'm going to have to tell Moko about when I saw The Cure in Boston with like 60 other people in a really small club on Lansdowne. And it was like a Tuesday night. And there was like an advertisement for a band called Three Imaginary Boys. And we were like, wouldn't that be funny if that was The Cure? Like just there. And so we went down and it was The Cure.
That's nuts.
It was amazing.
What motivates a band to do that?
They were
just messing around.
They were just fucking. In Vienna, I've been in places where all of a sudden somebody just walks in. In Porgy and Bess back in the day, I used to spend some time hanging out there, and there would be these monster people.
Yeah, but I mean,
walking
Porgy and Bess is kind of that place where that
could
kind of
happen.
happens because the jazz players aren't these mega stars that get followed around by an entourage and fans kind of breaking their door down and stuff. You can have people who are just really amazing musicians and well known if you're if you're hooked into that.
Yeah.
And you might see somebody just walk in and sit down at the piano if you're lucky.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But those moments where you get to see, like when I got to see Bootsy Collins here in Vienna with, I don't know, there's maybe 150 people in that room.
Yeah.
There was nobody who was there. And there was he had a guitar, one of Prince's guitar players, one of James Brown's drummers, backup singer from Patti LaBelle. It was amazing. Anyway, J.K.
Jamiroquai?
J.K. of Jamiroquai?
Do you mean Jamiroquai?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think
sure who
I
JK
think
is.
that's
All right.
who that is.
I think we did it. I think we need to move on, people. Crushes are crushing, and I hope you all continue to crush. We crush the crushes. Let's do this.
All right.
It's time for Chapter 2. That's right. Chapter 2.
Welcome, Verena.
Wait
Wave
a
at the
sec.
screen.
Everybody wave to Verena. Wait a minute, Michael. I think we have to do Chapter 2 again. We've totally forgotten the Kinksky. The Kinksky turn. All right, let's try this again. This is going to be Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Chapter 2. All right, we got to work on that
clubs have
choreography.
joined. Yeah, we definitely have to work on our choreography. I think that's that. I'm going to get that tattooed on my upper arm. Just
Work on
to
your
remind myself.
choreography?
Yeah, work on that shit.
Okay.
every time I get in the shower, I'm like, oh yeah, I should be doing that.
Just get a tattoo that says "Work that shit."
Yeah.
Work that shit.
With an arrow pointing in the direction. It should be worked.
Like my belt buckle that I wanted to have created. So my first million, I want to have a belt buckle. It's like a big belt buckle, because speaking of the 90s, big belt buckles, they're coming back. Early 2000s, 20-year cycles, people. Come on. Big belt buckle. It's going to be yellow. It's going to have black writing. It's going to have black arrows pointing like this. And underneath it's going to say, "My eyes are up here." But it's belt buckle. It says, "My eyes are up here." Every 16-year-old boy is going to buy that at Spencer Gifts, if Spencer Gifts in America still exists. I don't know if it does. Andrew?
I think you're going to spend your first million on that. You're going to lose your first million on that idea.
Oh, come on. I think pubescent boys.
My eyes are up here.
My eyes are up here.
All right.
It's hilarious.
Cool. Whatever.
All right. We are talking about...
We're talking about...
the clubs you have
clubs.
joined. So, what clubs have you joined? What clubs are you still in?
What clubs were you forced to join?
What clubs did you get out of? What were the best clubs? What are the worst clubs?
What would you like to join? What did you want to join and weren't allowed?
Ooh. So, clubs in general.
What's your thing with clubs? Do you like them? Is it something you can actually put under, one umbrella? Because there are clubs that are like really meaty.
Yeah.
And there are other clubs that are really cool.
I think I'm gonna go along. I'm gonna go, I think I don't ever want to belong to a club that would allow me in it. Who was it that said that?
You wouldn't want to
Groucho
be
Marx.
If they allow me in, then I don't want to be in it.
I never want to be. I'll never be part of a club that would have me in it. I think for me, I've never had a good time with a club. That's not really true. But I guess they always end, and every time a club ended, it was hard. When I was a kid, I tried to have an environmental club. But then I realized the kids only came because my mom was such a good baker and she would make really yummy snacks. And then I was in the Boy Scouts for a little while until
Does the Boy Scouts really count as a club?
Oh, sure, of course it does. Of course it does.
No, the military does not count as a club, Andrew.
But I was in the Boy Scouts until my troop leader was arrested for solicitation. And
it was that kind of club, was it?
And then that troop
counts as a club
ended.
then.
I wasn't a Boy Scout
that was two
anymore.
clubs actually. So it was the Boys Scout Club, right? Yeah. And then there was the pedophile club.
No, he wasn't a pedophile. He was just trying to sleep with a prostitute.
Oh, he was trying to sleep with a prostitute?
Yes, that's what.
But that's not soliciting. That's what the prostitute does, is the soliciting.
The crime is generally called solicitation. You are soliciting a sex service from somebody else.
Oh.
Right. In any case, that club ended. I've never really belonged to clubs. I belonged to bands. I mean, the English Lovers is a club I've been in for a long time. It's not a club. Yeah, it's not a club. I never belonged to a golf club. I've never belonged to a gentleman's club.
Would you want to belong to a gentleman's club? What's the thing about a gentleman's club that you think would be interesting?
Well, I've got a buddy of mine in London who belongs to a club. It's not a gentleman's club, but the tradition of private clubs is a lot more, is storied in England, right? And Jules belongs to a club. And they have offices in Berlin and New York and different places. And what's nice about that is that it's a place where you can go and work and hang out and not be bothered. And I was with him at this club one time, and it's a club for people in media.
Right.
And Kylie Minogue walked by us.
Dang! She's a member of the club too.
She's a member of the club too, or she was with somebody. I don't know. She was super small.
Right.
Really cute. But I can see the appeal to belonging to a club like that. Absolutely.
I kind of have the feeling that a lot of those clubs, including golf clubs, kind of live off this aura, this image that of bygone times and what the movies and the media tell us about these clubs. You know, everybody who was cool was in a club, and there's all these great things. But in the end, like all the clubs I've been a member of, they cost you money and they make you do things with your own time so that it kind of fits in with their time, which ends up basically being an expensive pain in the ass.
I think there are a lot of people that get a lot of pleasure and a lot of support out of clubs. I think of people who are in Kiwanis or a Rotary Club, Masons. I think of people who are, in any of those social clubs, but I've never felt comfortable or accepted in any of those places.
Yeah,
And
I think
I don't know why.
I actually think I do know why that is something that is so unusual in our circles, because people who join clubs like Rotary or the Lions or something like that, right? They are looking for something to do in their spare time that takes them completely away from their day-to-day, right? But because a lot of what we do is kind of what we enjoy doing, so a lot of the work time that we have and is actually, we're doing things that other people would be generally doing in their spare time. So I think we don't,
except we call it work.
Except we call it work, and we sometimes get paid for it. So I think that's a big difference there.
Yeah. I think people for clubs, it's like people who take improv classes.
Yeah.
Which is also a thing that I never did. That's why, some people go to yoga, some people, and you could maybe think of that as a club, but that's more of an activity, trying to fill your free time. Yeah. I think clubs are more, for me, seem to be more of a network, of a support around a common interest, perhaps. But very often things like the Masons or the Kiwanis or the Rotary Club or
Mushado is saying Isbaz is a club. And you're close, Mushado. Isbaz is a cult.
Isbaz is a very loose autonomous collective. Aren't social media groups clubs? Are social media groups?
Yeah.
I think perhaps. But for me, I was in Austria they call it a Verein. That's a club.
Yeah, I guess so. Depends on. I think it depends. You kind of defined it. If it's a network where you kind of spend your free time and you have, support in there and stuff, and it's like an amalgamation of those things. Then I guess it's something like a club.
View through trees in the house. I'm completely against clubbing, as should everyone be. Save the baby harp seals. Yeah.
I thought he was totally against clubbing, as in going to clubs. Yeah. Stop taking all that MDMA, man. Any sports clubs? Book club.
A book club.
Yeah.
I've never been in a book club. No.
I was in the badminton club 100 years ago. Mushado. Yeah.
Did you ever belong to a golf club?
I did belong to a golf club.
Used to?
Yeah. Well, I belong because basically it's impossible to play golf unless you belong to a club, which is bullshit.
Of course it is.
And especially in Austria, it's bullshit because it's fucking expensive to belong to a club. It's way cheaper in other countries.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer a member of the golf club anymore because I can't afford more than, one expensive hobby or two expensive hobbies.
What's your most expensive hobby?
Well, my most expensive hobby at the moment is motorcycling.
Right.
And motorcycling and golf and sailing, like just one expensive hobby too many. I haven't been sailing for quite a number of years, I have to admit. Right? And I haven't bought any new gear either. So this is the thing about sailing,
Have you ever belonged to a yacht club? Would you like to belong to a yacht club?
I have belonged to a yacht club. Yeah, they're expensive too.
Yacht club.
Yeah. I've actually paid for mooring on a yearly basis in a yacht club. Yeah. I paid for mooring because it was cheaper to have the boat out on a mooring in the middle of the lake, so you could swim out to the boat, than have it tied up on the jetty, because the jetty was like 3 times as expensive.
Yeah, of course. Sure. Are social media groups clubs? Okay, so I think, like you say a Verein is sometimes a club and sometimes not. For example, when I first came to Austria, I helped to found 2 theater companies. They were both Vereins, the English Lovers, and this Urtheater. And the Urtheater, we had dues. I think we paid like 18 euros a month. And the idea of that was...
Wow!
Yeah, it was crazy. It was something like that.
It's like the dues were more than you could ever earn.
No.
In a year.
At the time we were earning fine. The thing was that the Urtheater, slowly dissembled. But I forgot about that, and I was like paying dues for years. And the Verein still existed.
Right.
For a long time.
So they were just taking your cash.
They were just taking the cash.
Happy to take it.
Never inviting me to...
I remember playing
like
something in the region of 20 shows for Urtheater.
Yeah.
And I got paid 27 euros and 30 cents because they had that weird way of calculating like everything that everybody, and then it got divided up, and I was like, what? You didn't tell me you were going to pay me $1 a show when I signed up for this gig.
Yeah. The ÖAMTC.
Yeah, I'm a member of that. They call themselves an automobile club.
Well, that's a good club.
I guess they are.
That's if I had a car, that's the club. I could maybe join that club.
I wonder why you have PTSD over that. Was it so? Oh, maybe they forced you to join. So what the UMTC does is, if you're not a member of the club, and you're stranded somewhere, you can call them, but you have to become a member on the spot before they'll tell you.
Yeah. I get that. I totally get that. Yeah.
But I think I've got my money's worth out of UMTC as well.
I bet. I bet.
It's cool.
I mean,
they've kind of picked me because I've always had cars that are way beyond guarantee and stuff. So I've called them up quite a couple of times. Yeah, I actually need you to come and pick the car up with a big truck and take it somewhere. It's like, it's not going to start anymore. Just you come and pick the whole thing up and take it somewhere.
I wonder if clubs also help to, in some ways, I think maybe sometimes clubs help to replace family.
Maybe
that
sure.
that support structure.
Sure, if you're on your own, then joining a club is a pretty good thing to do. If you want to meet people, I think joining a club is a good thing to do, right?
Yeah.
You want to hang out with people who are kind of like-minded. So yeah, I guess it's. I think that's also what clubs really at the base of it are kind of aimed at, is finding like-minded people you might want to spend your free time with.
My mom was part of a club. I remember she was part of the MIC. See you real soon. KEY. Why? Because we love you. MOUSE. Mickey Mouse.
The Mickey Mouse Club.
Come and drink hi.
I'm not really sure what the Mickey Mouse Club is, but like a ton of...
MICKEYMOUSE.
There's a ton of celebrities now who used to be members of the Mickey Mouse Club. Is that?
That was from the beginning. The Mickey Mouse Club was just, there to develop performers. But anyway, my mom was part of the Mickey Mouse Club. And when I was a kid, there was another club I was a part of. I was part of the Ranger Rick Club. That was that environmental thing.
Right.
World Wildlife Federation. Ranger Rick. Mm-hmm. So what do you think? I think we did it, Michael. As I pour you a drink.
I think we can be pretty happy about that.
I like the idea of ISBAZ being a club. It's the loosest Most anarchic club ever. There will never be dues.
It's a drinking club.
Yeah, it's a drinking club. It's a club of like-minded individuals. Cheers. Hey, everybody.
Slippy.
And I think it's maybe time. I have to up to my membership with ADAC. Pavlov's dog. That's the German version of Titze, I think. Yeah. I think we did it. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, everybody in between, it is now time for a word to our sponsors. We're back.
I can't because when we come back to this.
Right, but next time we can reevaluate that and make it be one of the things like this.
Yes. Reevaluation, and reincorporation of all this. So, hey, is Follower of Clay out there? Maybe we should wait for Follower of Clay.
Why is that?
Because he was on about factoids. And I have a couple of factoids.
Well, he can watch it in the replay too.
Watch it in the replay?
An Arab in the house, love a good drinking club. Yes, you do. Isbaz, a club filled with people from all walks that you would want on a desert island in an apocalypse. Mr. Perkins.
Yeah.
Dropping the truth bombs. Love it.
We need the island to be an island that Captain Jack Sparrow has hidden a lot of rum on.
I think we need to copy this out and get this into the group. Oh yeah, by the way, for all the super experienced Isbazoozlers out there, on the Facebooks, if you're a Facebook type, there's a whole bunch of Facebook groups happening connected to Isbaz, because Facebook was forcing us to create groups for a while. And now there seems to be one that is gaining traction that Follower of Clay has kind of taken the hold of.
It's called Isbaz HQ.
It's called Isbaz HQ. Maybe if there's somebody, maybe Mr. Perkins can throw a link to that into the chat. And I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but that's a thing where we can be able to support each other and have fun. And because I see An Arab here, and I'm thinking of Follower of Clay, I have been witness for the past couple of days. If you are a friend of An Arab on Facebook, go to her page. If you're a friend of Follower of Clay on Facebook, go to his page and look for the conversation that the two of them are having. Over several days, I think they've got 175 posts going between them. It is a GIF war. And I have...
Nice.
I have laughed out loud several times just going through and following this tit-for-tat conversation that is happening. It is
GIF wars.
It is one of the funniest, coolest things I have seen in a brand new medium. I have never seen a story told like this before, and I'm all there for it. It is terrific. If you get a chance, go and check it out. These two people are fucking brilliant. And they hang out with us. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've got cool people in this club.
We can make the damn rum. Yeah, we can make the damn rum.
I mean, if we're going to be in an island, because there's going to be sugarcane and stuff like that, just fucking growing there. There was this war in some little town in the US. It was just sign wars, and I think it was a record shop, and across the road was a muffler shop or something, and they just put something out, want to start a sign war? Hey, muffler shop, want to start a sign war? And they started kind of battling each other. Yeah. And then the dry cleaners down the road joined in, and the Presbyterian Church joined in as well. I was following this on Sign Shrine on Facebook as well. Very, very funny.
Sign Shrine. That's a funny group.
It's a Facebook group that shares crazy signs from around the world. Yeah.
Very cool. So,
So-
that was our brief interlude. It's time for chapter 3, I think, right?
Well, I've got some factoids actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
So,
Okay.
factoid. Did you know that scientists are inconclusive about whether dinosaurs were warm-blooded? Because recently, a dinosaur was discovered that had dandruff. And his dandruff is something that only warm-blooded animals have. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Reptiles will shed all their skin in one go.
I did not know
But
that.
warm-blooded animals shed little bits.
Okay. I see. All right. So when a snake sheds its skin, that's like just one huge dandruff.
One huge fucking dandruff piece.
I saw a video today on YouTube about a company that cleans air vents. And
Right.
they were at a house that hadn't been cleaned, and their air vents hadn't been cleaned in 47 years. And it's like,
Ugh.
dust is
Yeah.
90% human cells.
Yeah,
Right.
well, yeah. It's definitely one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
nuts.
do you got another factoid?
I got another
for us?
factoid, yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, and everybody in between, Uncle Mike with the factoid.
Do you know why astronaut spacesuits come in two different colors? There's orange and there's white.
I did not know that.
So-
Why do they come in two different colors?
The reason they're in orange is the suit that they wear for takeoff and re-entry, because you can see orange on virtually any landscape, especially on the ocean.
I did not know that. Continue.
And the white ones are the ones they use in space, because in space it's black and you can see the white against the blackness of space.
I didn't hear that. Say it again.
You didn't hear that.
I was concentrated on something else.
The white ones are white, so you can see them against the blackness of space.
I got it now.
Factoids! Okay, follower of Clay,
You just got factoided.
you got it factoided.
You just got factoided. I think we need to have a voiceover for that. For that thing.
Yeah.
So that I'm gonna have to work that. Michael wanted to have something about factoids, and so I made that little thing. It says, you
He
just
made that this
got
afternoon.
factoided.
Toid.
You're welcome.
You got
Factoided.
fat-roided.
You got factoided. You just got factoided. So when you see this, when you see this, okay, let's try this again. When you see this, you just got factoided. You're welcome. It's too short. We have to use the other one. I made two. That's Michael. That's me. That's us.
We're moving on to chapter 3.
Chapter 3 with a Kinski turn on staying in touch. So
Yeah.
what we're talking about here is, are you good at staying in touch?
Well, in fact, is it something you like to do, or is it something you consider a chore?
What are your strategies for staying in touch? Who do you need to get in touch with?
Are there people who stay in touch with you who you're not particularly interested in staying in touch with?
I'm just realizing what the problem was earlier. Our
There was
camera's,
a problem earlier?
the camera's way too high.
The camera's exactly where it always is.
No, I can tell you right now
Right.
it's not true.
Okay, good, fine. We need
Anyway.
to photograph this from here so I can just prove it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
In any case, who do you need to get in touch with? What are your strategies for staying in touch? Are you an active staying in toucher? What do you think? What about you, Michael? Are you a staying in toucher? Are you a good staying in toucher?
I think I'm a mediocre staying in toucher, actually.
I'm a piss poor staying in toucher.
You know, I think there's a staying in touch is driven a lot by a romantic idea of, you know, cohesion somehow. There's a group. You have feelings about each other. You know, you're attached to people. But I think a lot of the romanticism about that has to do with how those people you want to remain in contact with are stored in your brain. But they're not necessarily that way in real life. So then you kind of reach out to people and you kind of think, oh, I'm going to stay in touch with this. But it never really turns out to be as rewarding as the thought was in your head.
Okay, I think you've jumped to something that is incredibly salient, but you're, as usual, are 2 steps ahead of me. I think, okay, let's talk about staying in touch. Because staying in touch, for me, is always about people, not just the people that you're thinking about that you want to re-engage because there's been a long time, but also what happens. Our life, our job, often brings us together with people for very intense, very close quarter moments.
And then we don't see them for a year.
And then you don't see them again.
Yeah. Or ever again, yes.
Perhaps ever. Donald Sutherland, you have a nice life. You have a nice life.
You gotta let that go, Jim.
And fucking Donald Sutherland. So what I'm saying is,
yeah.
Let me get to it. You've got this very intense thing, and then these people are gone. But they because of that intensity, sometimes even beyond the intensity, there is a deeper connection, and there are people that you want to hang on to and keep in your life. But because I am terrible at it, I become very passive in my keeping in touchness.
Yeah.
And also because I have, since I was small, since I can remember, I've never been a misser. If you are out of sight,
Right.
You're
out of mind.
No, you're not out of mind, but I don't worry about you. Because missing for me always seemed to be about worry. Missing, yes, but also, yes, you are a bit out of mind. But if you then are reappearing, you're there. I have people with whom I keep in touch, and maybe this is what touches on your thing, with whom I keep in touch in my brain. I think about them daily, so at least once a week. Sometimes every day. There are moments and people that I will think about almost
telepathically.
daily, but I haven't spoken to them in 20 years.
Yeah.
Now, if that is what you're talking about, and then the allure of getting in touch, and then the reality being not the same as what you were hoping this person was still, or you know what I mean? That's what you were talking about before.
Well, kind of, yeah. But it's like, I mean, who was that? Somebody just said Facebook kind of helps you keep in touch if you're shy with people.
Yeah, social media helped socially shy people to keep in touch with people they normally would not.
Normally would not, yeah. But yes, Philly Girl, that's totally true. But a lot of those people that you kind of reattach yourself to or reconnect with, they've moved on. And that's not necessarily been a good thing for them.
Yeah.
I've kind of reconnected with people on Facebook over the years, and it's like,
But I think that's that's actually a different thing.
I think so, yeah.
I think it's because that's not staying in touch. Now, like Moko, I'm down with you tonight. Moko, you and I are, whoa.
I didn't talk to you in school. Why do you think I would want to talk to you 10, 15, 20 years later on? Yeah.
And I totally get that. Now, because this is a different thing. This is not staying in touch. This is trying to get reacquainted after a long period.
It's actually like chasing down your crushes kind of thing almost.
It's chasing your past, yeah. So for example, I have spoken to you many times about a man named Joey Joyner, who was my best friend when I was a kid. And toward the end of high school, we kind of started to slowly separate. He was into other things, there was stuff happening, but he was still very much a part of my life. And then for years, I would think about him daily. I would think about him very often. And then Facebook arrived. And at some point, I think his brother he didn't, but I saw on Facebook that he had married a woman who was Austrian.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Or at least half Austrian.
Like from Austria, almost.
Or at least half Austrian. And that they had been, and he had 2 kids,
right.
and they had gone to Austria.
Right. And he didn't contact you?
And he never contacted me.
Right.
You know, but he didn't know where I was. We had separated.
Oh, I see.
And but I'd seen this because I was back in Maine, and I was thinking about him, and I thought, and so I got in contact with him, and he invited me. When I got to his house, his wife was there, but he wasn't. And then he arrived, and we sat and we talked. And he would often say, I don't remember anything from the past. And I had the feeling that he was very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And the fact that we had, unknown from one another, so many parallels,
right,
I think freaked him out.
I think this is almost like another topic. It's like running into old acquaintances or old friends. Right?
It is. You're absolutely right. In any case, maybe we'll talk about it another time. Yeah. We're talking about staying in touch. There are plenty of people I wish I stayed in touch with. I'm terrible at it. And all of the things that FB does was great for that, absolutely. But do you guys have a schedule? I feel like I should have, maybe that's the thing. Maybe I should just get like a calendar to remind me, hey, this week you should give Rod a call.
Yeah.
Hey, this week, try to get Billy on the phone again. You've missed each other a long time. Try it again.
Yeah, it's kind of one of our improv friends was posted something a while ago about. It was one of those Facebook chain letter type things where you're going to post this to see who's going to respond and stuff. And I wrote, actually, I would have been more interested if you just posted something and saying, this is what I'm doing right now, and kind of updated me about your life, instead of trying to get me to engage in this kind of fake Facebook engagement post. It's like it was kind of along the lines of, who's gonna respond here. It was like, answer some questions, those things.
One of those, yeah. Those are always terrible.
It wasn't as douchey as, I bet none of my friends is going to repost this and stuff like that. I mean, that's
super
just
passive aggressive. If you're not my friend, then don't even bother. But if you are my friend, then bother. But if you don't bother,
I like the way Facebook has kind of gone on that in that direction. Like nobody feeds the trolls anymore. Yeah. So you see people kind of posting crap like that, and then they've got like 2 interactions in a week. You think, yeah, exactly. I'm just going to skim right over that shit.
Yeah. Just hitting the chat here. Yes, there are those folks that you can just pick up with over years. And that happened to me recently. There was a buddy of mine who I hadn't spoken to in 18 years. Mm-hmm. And he called me up out of the blue.
Wow.
And it was wonderful. And we just picked up, and he was actually saying, he said to me, hey, like there are just some people that you think about, maybe daily, maybe every week. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, you're one of those people for me. And I was like, wow. And I love that. And I love that. But I think there are others that you kind of have to get, I am one of those passive ones. If you want to get in touch with me, I am there. As soon as you do it, I am there. I'm psyched. I will be on there. You call up and say, how you doing? I'm going to say, never better. Let's do this. But I'm so bad at it actively. Anyway, you can pick up with those special people. Don't make a calendar to keep up. It's so stilted. Don't make a calendar to keep up. It's so stilted. But if I don't have a calendar, then I don't know who it is. I don't know. I get lost in it. Tell us your favorite color. Tell us they're talking about those. Yeah, my friends aren't going to love me. Then you can answer these questions. Yeah. Staying in touch, I think, is very important. Keeping up your network is very important. Social media was a great thing, but it it very difficult because it made the network that you can keep up with too big. You know, what is it? I think it's
Well,
like
actually,
70,
it's
like 70 people or 75 people
It's
that you can...
turned into you're no longer keeping up in the way that it was originally intentioned.
Right, you're just transmitting.
It's like keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes.
You've got to be posting stuff about how great your life is. That's what social media has turned into.
I mean, the idea that you could put all of your updates onto a thing where all of your friends could see it to keep in touch, but it's, you know, keeping in touch on social media is called engagement. It seems so clinical and weird, and because everyone becomes transmitters, everyone becomes a producer. You're constantly consuming everybody else's, but
you're
often
putting content on your
of,
channel for your friends to consume. Yeah,
I just want somebody to. I'll get on Zoom with you. Call me up. Back at the beginning of the pandemic, in fact, I put a call. I said, just get in touch with me. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to reach out to. Maybe I should just start doing that randomly reaching out to people I love.
Maybe that's a good thing to do.
But now it's been so long.
Yeah, and so actually keeping in touch, I think I'm actually bad at it. I think I'm actually definitely bad at it because I played a concert a couple of months ago, and because it was an online concert, I could see who'd watched it.
Right.
And one of my old friends had bought a ticket for this concert. And I saw her, because I saw her email address. So I emailed her at that email address, and she wrote me back like 2 days later or a couple of days later.
Right.
And there was this long email with everything that's kind of going on. And I was really busy that week, and I wrote her a note saying, I'm really busy right now, I'll get back to you at the end of the week. And that was 3 months ago, I think.
Jesus.
And she's like been on my list, on my to-do list since then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna do that when I get home. And then I get home, I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna sit on the sofa and do nothing. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna go to the office tomorrow, I'm gonna do it. And then I get to the office and I'm like, now I wanna play guitar now, you know?
Dunbar's number 150, thank you. Yeah. I'll sometimes get an email from somebody, but generally it's work. If it's a personal thing, if it's just you getting in touch with me and saying, how are you doing? I'm on it like white on rice. But if it's a work thing, or it's like something that I'm not interested in at the get-go, I will think about writing you back every day for 2 weeks.
Oh.
I've
been on the receiving end of this several times.
Yeah. If you don't hear back from me right away, just basically
I just find somebody else.
I'm not interested in it.
I just find somebody else to do it. Yeah.
I don't do it to you. I don't do it to you. Do I do it to you?
I have photographic proof.
Well, I think we did it. Staying in touch. It's important to stay in touch. Get back in touch, but we'll find a way to talk about that. We'll do another chapter about that. We'll do its own chapter about getting back in touch.
It's going to be a whole topic about
it. Rekindling.
Trying to rekindle things.
Yeah, rekindling. But staying in touch is good. If I can't have a calendar, I'm just going to start doing it randomly.
I think Isbaz has turned into a way of staying in touch with people.
Absolutely,
right?
But because it's a club.
It's kind of cool because it's a club, yeah.
It's a non-club club. It's a club.
Yeah.
And if we can't stay in touch this way, then there's the Isbaz HQ on Facebook, which is kind of a club. You know what, Michael? I think this has probably been the best.
Well, I drank everything.
Isbaz ever. Let's have one more slurp with everybody before we go. Where's our slurpy slurps? Let's make sure we say goodnight to everybody. Muchacho, Pavlov's dog, Moko, Mr. Perkins.
Verena was here.
Verena.
Hey, Verena. Wave the paw that doesn't hurt at the screen. Hope you're feeling better.
Philly Girl 1000. Verena is back.
Moko.
We saw Dave Moskin in the house.
View through trees and Anne.
Anne Raab in the house. View through trees. I want to know who View Through Trees is. View Through Trees says that our facial hair looks good. Michael doesn't like my beard. Whatevs.
View Through Trees is a beard,
Dave
is a
Moskin.
beard person.
Pavlov's dog. I think we hit everybody. Moko and yeah, I think we got everybody.
All right.
Vienna Theatre
Project's already
who has
moved on to do
moved on
1001 Nights.
Yeah, if you get a chance to check her out, do that. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, and everybody in between, thank you so very much for joining us. Next week,
We shall return on Thursday at 8:30 with topics
We don't know what they are
yet
yet.
to decide on.
we'll figure that out. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Have a good week. Be careful. Stay in touch.
Have a good weekend.
Best Isbaz ever.
I think so, definitely. Wave at the camera.
This is really fun. Yeah, we're going to get more of this shit going.
You're making my computer dizzy.
No, turn your head. Turn your head, just slowly. Oh, whoa. All right.
Where'd the thing go?
Good night, everybody. Should we hug it out?
Yeah.